freshman, a legend in the plans. Please listen every day to the showcase. The opinions and knowledge that anyone can take. Showing you how it is done. Proving I am number one, what a legend becomes. This is now my time to show you that I am here. This podcast just to make it loud and clear. By the fans, for the fans. Not many whose head can understand everything pro wrestling. It can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes.
What's up, everyone? My name's LBJ. That's ELBJ. Sometimes the L is silent. And I am your host for EPW's Everything Pro Wrestling's The Countout. And just like everything EPW does, it's made by the fans and for the fans. So, you may be asking, what is the Countout? Well, every week you're going to get a wrap-up of wrestling news and moments in a short but jam-packed podcast episode. You're going to hear a 10 count of top news stories and my commentary on them. You're going to get a top 5 count of wrestlers of the week as determined, well, today by me, but potentially by a listener's voting poll. We'll see where we go. And then you're going to end with a 3 count of my predictions. So, without any further ado, let's get into the show. It's time for the 10 count news.
1.
Number 1 on our list this week is clearly an obvious one. It is CM Punk versus the Elite. If you don't know already by now, if you haven't been paying attention to anything in the world of wrestling in the last week, I'll try to briefly fill you in with a little bit cleaner language than what was used. So, CM Punk, after All Out ended, went into the post-media scrum with Tony Khan, and he went off. Unprompted, not asked, started digging into some of the online rumors and things that have been brought up to his attention regarding Colt Cabana. He dismissed Hangman Page, the EVPs, and he was relentless. Every time it kind of seemed like he was going away from it, he circled back into it. It was... He was just in scorched earth mode and tried to verbally eviscerate a lot of these online rumors, which he believes has been perpetrated by the EVPs, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Following that, his portion of the media scrum, it was reported that a melee broke out. That was terms that was used online between the Bucks and Kenny. We have enough reports that have come in. We don't know 100% the full scenario, the full scope of everything yet, but we do have enough validation to say that there was a confrontation between them. Punches were thrown. A chair was thrown, potentially knocking someone out, Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega was bit by Ace Steel. Sounds insane, right? It has only exploded more and more and more and developed so quickly, which has led into the rest of this week. This news dominated everything. So, like I said, if you're here and you're listening to this, you probably already know because of the gravity of this story. But if not, that was a quick little synopsis. Go check out more of it, and that'll lead in to our second story.
2.
Hi. Thank you for joining us tonight, and welcome to AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS. Following All Out on pay-per-view this past Sunday night, I've been forced to vacate the AEW World Championship, as well as the AEW World Trios Championship.
That's right. Number 2 this week is the AEW World Heavyweight title and the brand new AEW Trios Championships have been stripped off their winners. CM Punk and the Young Bucks no longer champions. As the continuation of story number 1, I felt like we had to separate at this point. All parties involved have been suspended. We don't know how long. Have been removed from at least this week's AEW's promotional material, not referenced, due to legal obligations and just regular disciplinary situations. We have no idea when anybody will be back and if some will return. Obviously, as we find out more, we will keep every listener updated. But yeah, the big news is the titles were stripped off of the winners from All Out. CM Punk no longer the World Heavyweight Champion, and the Elite no longer the Trios Champions.
3.
Buffalo, New York! The devil is back! Now listen up!
Coming in at number 3 on this week's news is the return of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF returned at All Out this past weekend as the Joker in the Casino ladder match. There was a group of people who revealed themselves to be all the people Stokely Hathaway had given cards to over the last few weeks, with Stokely Hathaway himself being on top of the ladder grabbing the chip. While the music Sympathy for the Devil started playing, out walked a man in a devil mask, would not reveal himself, but accepted the chip. The match was over. The Joker won. At the end of the night, he revealed himself to be none other than MJF. MJF came out on Dynamite this week and cut a huge babyface promo, only to sucker the audience in enough to show his true colors and be the MJF everyone appreciates.
4.
At number 4 this week, we have, I believe, the final bit of news regarding the CM Punk Bucks situation and the world title picture, and that is the additional information in all of this that CM Punk suffered some kind of injury in his arm, originally reported to be a tricep, but that is not 100% clear. He apparently did it in a tope onto Jon Moxley during their main event match, but this injury is one that typically takes someone 6 to 8 months to recover. So that pretty much guarantees that even without the suspension, we are not going to see CM Punk back in an AEW ring in the year of 2022.
5.
Coming in at number 5 is WWE's Clash at the Castle. Yes, the whole event. It was the first time that WWE have had a pay-per-view event in the UK in 30 years. That is a very long time. So these fans were going crazy the entire show. It was a great event, and if you haven't checked it out, I suggest if you're in the States, hop on Peacock. If you're outside of the States and you still have the WWE Network, I'm jealous. Check it out there. I'm going to quickly run down the card and some moments that happened before we head on into the next thing. Edge and Rey Mysterio defeated the Judgment Day, but right after defeating them, Dominic Mysterio low-blowed Edge, clotheslined, a hard clothesline onto Rey, and seemingly split away from his father, turned on them, and as we found out on Monday, has joined the Judgment Day. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins was an incredible match. A crazy second rope curb stomp, which left a knot on Matt Riddle's head, was the finish to that. Seth wins. Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss lost to Damage Control, the team of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. The Intercontinental Championship match, Sheamus versus Gunther. Sheamus fought incredibly well, but his body could not keep up with the punishment that Gunther gave to him, thus giving Gunther the win in the very last moments. And the crowd spent probably a good 3 minutes showing their respect to Sheamus afterwards. SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan retained over Shayna Baszler after surviving countless move after move submission punishment onto Liv Morgan. Came back with the win. I'm very curious to see how Liv Morgan's story goes from here. And then the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. That match was incredible. And, well, Drew had everything going for him he possibly could, except for being able to get the W. Roman Reigns retained over Drew McIntyre.
6.
News from the House of Black comes in at number 6 this week, as we have found out that Malachi Black has been granted a conditional release from AEW. There were rumors that he had asked for his release that were initially reported as false. However, it seems as though that was true initially and denied. At the end of All Out, at the end of their match at All Out, the House of Black all hugged. Malachi bowed to the crowd and blew them a kiss. And a lot of people were wondering what was going on. In the post-media scrum, Tony Khan said that he would not comment at this time on that. We later found out before AEW Dynamite that Malachi Black has been released conditionally. It is believed to be something mental health related, and I would just like to say that I wish him all the best. As someone who also knows the struggles of mental health issues, I want to let everyone know at this time, you are not alone. It is more common than you think. And if you need to talk to someone, please reach out. There is always someone.
7.
Number 7 is also some bad news this week. Not a whole lot to say here other than the unfortunate news that Kyle O'Reilly is out indefinitely as he has had neck fusion surgery. That is a major procedure in general, but especially in the world of wrestling when a wrestler has to go and have fusion surgery, whether that's, spine, neck, that kind of thing. Kyle O'Reilly has seemed to be in good spirits, even making jokes about it on his Twitter and on social media. We wish Kyle all the best, and hopefully we will see him sooner rather than later.
8.
Black Arrow! 1, 2, got him! New champs! The winners of this match, and new AEW World Trios Champions, Death Triangle!
What an awesome match, man. The Bastard Pack, now a double crown champion here in AEW.
Death Triangle winning the Trios title at AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday against the Best Friends is news story number 8 of this week, as it also makes Pac a double champion in AEW. So, is he Pac 2 belts or 2-pack? Sorry, I know, that was really lame. Moving on.
9.
Tony Storm won the interim women's title at All Out this week in a fatal 4-way match against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Tony Storm talked in the post-media scrum saying that whenever Thunder Rosa comes back, Thunder Rosa can lose to her and solidify that she is no longer going to be the interim women's champion, but the full. We shall see whenever Thunder Rosa does return into the ring, as those two are now destined for what I'm sure will be a great match, and hopefully Thunder Rosa is okay and healing well from her injury.
10.
And in the last bit of news to round out our 10 count this week, Pat McAfee is stepping away from SmackDown as a commentator. Paul Triple H Levesque, the current head of talent relations, as you would know, and chief content officer, he tweeted out a message revealing this information. He said, Pat McAfee approached us about his amazing opportunity with College Game Day on ESPN. We'd never stand in Pat's way as he continues to architect his exceptional career. Pat will remain a member of the WWE Universe, and we look forward to his return. This news and Pat McAfee's response seems to indicate that this is only a short time away during this football season, and that Pat will return. However, that has not been 100% confirmed. So SmackDown will definitely greatly miss Pat, as he was an amazing commentary member next to Michael Cole, basically revitalizing Michael Cole in his run in WWE in the process. So hopefully we will see him in a few months. And now, it's time for the top 5 wrestlers of the week. The number 5 wrestler of the week is Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley and the WWE have been doing an amazing job on revitalizing the United States Championship and making it feel way more important and a much bigger deal than what it had in years past. Bobby Lashley has been on a tear. He has been defending the title. He has been defeating the likes of AJ Styles, Tommaso Ciampa in amazing matches on Raw since Triple H has taken over, and there is no exception to this week when he faced The Miz and defeated him in a steel cage match in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Number 4 this week is Pac in AEW. He won against Kip Sabian, defending the All-Atlantic Championship at All Out, and then turned around on Wednesday, won the Trios Championship with his stablemates, Death Triangle, Penta, El Zero M, or El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix. And this makes Pac a double champ in AEW, and he has just had an extremely phenomenal week when it comes to in-ring competition. Number 3 this week is MJF. After the mysterious and dastardly reveal at All Out, he swerved the audience and even captivated them with his AEW opening promo, talking about how much he loved Buffalo and the city and the fans of AEW. That was until Jon Moxley came and MJF then showed his true colors. But the promo itself, the highlight of him being back, and the future potential that he left in place with knowing about the championship tournament going on, and you know that he will be a future opponent for whoever wins it. MJF made a big splash back in AEW and helped take people's minds off of the crazy news that had happened over the weekend after All Out had ended. So MJF is your number 3 wrestler of the week this week.
But winners always want the ball when the game is on the line. The ace always wants the ball. And I want the ball. So hell yeah, I'm gonna take the shot.
Guys, I literally have goosebumps. This is powerful, man.
Because this isn't just time to win. This isn't just the fourth quarter. This isn't just winning time right now. This is time to be a legend.
Coming in at number 2 this week is also someone who helped ease the minds of AEW fans right from the get-go, and that was Jon Moxley. Moxley, after interrupting MJF and getting MJF out of the ring, cut a very impassioned promo about AEW, what the title meant to all the performers, to the company, to the fans, what the company has been and is supposed to be and is going to continue to be, if Moxley has anything to say about it, and then his will and his desire to become legendary in AEW. I fully think that whether it's seen or not, Moxley time and time again has helped put AEW on his back when they've needed it, during the pandemic, during the CM Punk injury. And he has shown that he's a great champion. He really does care about the show and the product and the fans. And this promo and everything that he's done, Jon Moxley is the ace of all elite wrestling.
Acknowledge me!
And coming in at number 1 this week on the top 5 wrestlers of the week, we have the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. His defense at Clash of the Castle, we thought he had no one to help him. The Usos taken out, Sami Zayn not around, Paul Heyman still missing in action after taking that F5 at SummerSlam. Roman never stopped in the match despite all Drew had going for him. Drew getting the upper hand time and time again. And then right when everyone thought that Drew had it, you found out there was an additional member of the bloodline that no one had seen unless you watched NXT 2.0, and that is the Usos' younger brother, Solo Sikoa, who pulled the referee out so he couldn't make the 3 count, causing enough of a distraction for Roman Reigns to pick up the win. And, well, we saw what happened at the end of Clash at the Castle, so I would have said normally to make the crowd go home unhappy, but I don't really know how the crowd felt after that sing-along with Drew at the end. That was, and Tyson Fury. That was very interesting. But either way, Roman Reigns walks out, still carrying those belts, 2 years as champion, 2 years plus, and he is the head of the table, and it is time for everyone who hasn't already to acknowledge him. And now it is time for 3 predictions. So it is time for the 3 predictions, and I will make these short, sweet, little bit of commentary just so that you know what's going on. But they are 3 things that I feel is going to happen. Now, are there any ramifications if they don't? No, not absolutely. But sometimes it's like you can just see the writing on the wall, and maybe this Maybe it is there, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm clairvoyant. I have no idea. But here are 3 predictions. Prediction number 1. Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley will be your final at AEW Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe Stadium. I would have thought Hangman Page would have made it to the finals again after all this time and not getting a rematch. But when Bryan Danielson beat him this week on AEW Dynamite, I think that Danielson moves all the way. I think he'll beat Jericho. I think he will move all the way to the finals. I think Moxley will do the same, leaving our final for the finals for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship to be an inter-BCC battle. Prediction number 2. Wardlow is going to defend the TNT Championship at Full Gear in a triple threat match between Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I think those two have still unfinished business. I don't think it's done, but I think they're both getting pushed at the same time, and it would seem as though the logical sense would be towards the TNT Championship, where you will have Wardlow being a dominant champion all the way until Full Gear, so it will lead into unpredictable waters as you will have a feud on top of a title match. So you'll have 2 guys who don't like each other but want to be champ versus the dominant champ who's willing to take on anyone. I think that's an interesting dynamic, and that is my second prediction. And before we get out of here, my third and final prediction for this week's episode is kind of a sad one in some regards, but for some fans, maybe not so much after what's happened this weekend. But my third prediction is that CM Punk will not actually return to AEW. I think right now, we still have the investigation going on, legal ramifications and internal investigation going on. He's out with an injury, just getting an injury in the match that he won the title. He has now officially held the title twice and has been a champion for about 5 days because of injuries. So that building up on top of some sour grapes of things between him and the Elite and what happened in the post-media scrum, some reports on how the locker room feels, so on and so forth. I think that during the course of Punk rehabbing his injury and dealing with the investigations and possible legal issues, I think he's gonna walk. And I think AEW won't really make a high-profile deal about it. They'll just kind of go their separate ways during this 8-month stint of Punk rehabbing his injury. But yeah, like I said, kind of sad that we see Punk go out in this way, but I think that's how it's going to happen. I think CM Punk will be done with AEW, and we will not see him in the AEW ring competing again. So, this has been the first ever episode of The Countout. What did you guys think? If you liked it, if you could, please give us a 5-star review. You can find everything pro wrestling on all the social medias, on YouTube, on podcast services. Please rate, review, like, subscribe, anything that they could possibly do to help us out if you enjoyed this. If you want to give us feedback, please send anything to the Facebook groups, put it in the comments, put it in the reviews. We'd love to hear about it, love to know what you think about the Countout, about everything pro wrestling. And until next week, I have been your host, LBJ, and I will catch you later.
Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes. By the fans, for the fans, not many in this can understand, this the podcast to show you who I am, Conrad Cushman, the legend in the plans, please listen every day to the showcase, the opinions and knowledge that anyone can take, showing you how it is done, proving I am number one, what a legend becomes. This is now my time to show you that I am here, this podcast just to make it loud and clear, by the fans, for the fans, not many who's here can understand everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinion and the lesson, yes. Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes.